new figures have revealed that converted handguns, those that are only designed to fire blanks, are actually responsible for more UK shootings than real handguns.
So to give you an idea, during last year, 64 discharges were from converted models. That's compared with 42 from real weapons. And of those 64 incidents, 4 resulted in death. 17 resulted in serious injuries. Joining us now to unpick this matter, former gun factory owner and reformed criminal Sicarius McGrath and former detective superintendent of the Met, Shabnan Chowdhury. Sicarius, let's start with you. A reformed criminal. Let's just talk about converted handguns. Tell me how you know about this. You owned a factory, my friend, and you're converted from that, are you?
Yeah, I was involved in converting them from 2001. I had a gun factory, which I was eventually arrested for in 2004.
Did you go to prison?
Yeah, I was prisoned for related firearms offences and part of the gun factory. When I was raided, they found firearm paraphernalia used to manufacture and convert firearms.
Can I ask the obvious question? Because I don't know. Rosie probably knows more than me. It's shocking to think that these are supposed to fire blanks. Why are they converted? Am I missing the point here? Why don't they just sell real guns? Help me out.
Because they're easier to source. Converting these firearms, you can purchase them online from UK retailers.
You can purchase them online?
Yeah, there's UK retailers now selling firearms that can be converted, yeah, that's correct.
Jeez, cool, blimey, Ronnie.
And Shabnan, thank you for joining us. Yeah. When you're dealing with incidents that involve handguns like this, how often were you coming across a weapon like that that is then adapted to be significantly more dangerous?
Well, in my 30 years, I had a few occasions where we had either imitation firearms or those that had been converted, and you actually could not tell the difference. I'm not a firearms expert, but when you faced with the barrel of a gun, you would not know whether it's real or whether it's a replica or whether it's a converted firearm. So that's a real issue within policing. But I think, as Sicarius said, they're very easily accessible and far cheaper to get hold of than the real deal.
And Shabnan, that's the point. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. If anything comes out of this, it's that. I mean, we talk every day on this show about how high-tech companies and the online ability. We did a show last year and we were able to get those dreadful knives. We were able to, within 24 hours, sent to this building. Surely the message from the police and reformed criminals like you, Sicarius, is we need to do something about the availability of these to the general public, right?
Well,
yeah,
this is about...
sorry.
One of you.
On online businesses and on the websites. I mean, I think you can grab hold of a gun, a replica, or a blank firearm with just a driving license. I know they're prohibited in many places, but the fact is, you don't actually even have to be face to face. You can get these weapons by purely going online, purchasing. I listened to the program last night for £100. That's ridiculously scary.
It's completely scary. Sicarius, here's what I wanted to say. We read a lot about, quite rightly, the knife epidemic that's flooding the United Kingdom. Kids carrying knives, trying to protect themselves. Apparently, that's what happens. We hear about heinous stabbings all the time. Are knives now not popular? Are there more knives on the streets? Because this would imply that guns are as apparent as knives. What would your response to that be?
Yeah, obviously, even to get a converted firearm is going to be a lot more difficult to source and a lot more expensive. So that's probably why knives are more popular. I think if firearms were as easy accessible, then would see them being as popular as the knives. But what I was going to say before is it's not really so much a police matter. This is a matter for government to ban these retailers by selling them. And I've done something with a journalist in recent weeks, in which the journalist purchased one of these weapons online. It was delivered to him from a UK retailer, and I looked at the firearm, and there's not much difference from the ones I was converting 2 decades ago. Wow. So the law was tightened up in approximately 2005, 2006, from what I remember, to prevent these weapons being converted into live firing weapons. And from what I looked at the last one, what the journalist showed me, there's not much difference. The ones I was converting were top Fenton, and they were sold for similar purposes to scare birds, which retailers know very well they're not being purchased for that reason.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy 10, 15 firearms to scare some magpies outside his house. It's a load of nonsense. It's just a a way in the back door for these retailers to sell them.
Sicarius, who are you selling to? Who was coming to you realising that this was a cheaper way to get such a destructive weapon?
There was gangs across the UK sometimes that buy 10 for £3,000, so would reduce the price down to £300 a firearm. So we was doing it on a large scale, and those gangs across the UK, they weren't specific to any city or geographical location. They were travelling from far and wide, and I'd say that's what's still happening now. The firearms can still be converted. They're not difficult to convert, and the weapon I seen from the BBC, I could have done within 30 minutes, if not quicker.
Shabnan, sorry, Shabnan, can you talk to me? I'm getting old, so I get frustrated, like I'm devastated about that kid on the front of the Sun who starved to death, and I'm devastated to hear that kids carry knives and guns are so prevalent. What needs to be done? Do we need more police? Do we need stronger laws? Do we need more stop and search? Because we go round and round in damn circles. You know, lawless Britain is a fact for many people who will say, hey, you walk down the street, you can be stabbed, you can be shot, you can be ram-raided, you can be, you know, mugged, jumped on, whatever. What do we need to do as a society to get rid of this?
Well, I think everybody has a role to play. Policing has a role to play. When you talk about stop and search, it's a very effective tool. It can reduce the number of weapons on the street, whether it's guns, whether it's knives, or whether it's any other type of weapon. But there needs to be government input in relation to the buying online of these fatal weapons, and also with online businesses who want to make their money. They don't really care who they sell to, and you know, a driving license or some form of identity that allows them to then deliver within 24 hours something that can be readily convertible within 15 minutes, as Sicarius says, and then be distributed across the streets of the UK. Guns are lethal weapons. People carry these weapons not just because of the fact that they're in drugs gangs or they're criminals, because it gives them kudos. So if they've got a firearm that is a converted firearm that doesn't necessarily even shoot, the fact is they've still got kudos. And when somebody else is faced with that, they don't know what they're actually looking at. And the fear of that in itself is petrifying. And then there's the legislation to ensure that every element of legislation is utilised across UK policing and with the government to ensure that these people cannot carry these weapons and that they are served justice.
It sounds effectively, Sicarius, it is too easy to buy them, very cheap to convert them, and there is a market for them.
Yeah, there's a huge demand for them. And if you to take these blank fires out of circulation, it reduced the prospect of them falling into the hands of criminals, and it reduced the prospect of people being murdered. I'm not saying it eradicate the problem, but it significantly reduces it because they're a lot more cheaper to source and they're a lot more easier to source.
Gang, thank you so much. We would love to take more time, but Sicarius and Shabnan, thank you